Hi, everybody. Hi. I'm so happy you're here. My name's Brad. And wow, welcome. Come on in. We're going to make sure everybody's able to connect because there's a lot of people joining us this morning. We have so many people. So many people will be watching this live in different places. Some will be watching it afterwards. But today we have more than 500 classrooms gathered to celebrate with us. 500. So this is exciting. Go ahead, get moved in, get settled into the room. Hope you can hear and see okay. If you do have a blank sheet of paper and a pencil, that might help you. You don't have to have this. This is not vital. But if you have a blank sheet of paper and a pencil, you might want this handy because who knows, inspiration might hit you. Blank sheet of paper and pencil. And I hope you know just how excited I am that you're with us right now because there are people watching this from all over the United States. We have folks in Canada who are tuning in Australia, wherever you are, however you're watching this. Thank you and welcome. We're here today because, we're here because there's a book that's coming out. In fact, this book released today, this very day. It's The Fantastic Bureau of Imagination. This is a book I've been dreaming about since I was a kid, and it's here. It's a real thing. This is me from not too long ago. I loved to read. I loved to write. I loved to draw. I loved to draw so much that my fourth grade teacher, who noticed something in me, as teachers do, she noticed that I was rushing through my work just so I could draw on the backs of paper. And she was like, hey, you know what? You have a really big imagination. And you're very creative, but you are rushing through your work just so you can draw on the backs of things. I will give you paper. Do your work well, and I will give you your very own paper that you can fill with whatever you want. Well, that was all the motivation I needed. And I got to draw a whole bunch then. In fact, I got comics put in the school newspaper. Got to do all sorts of fun stuff with paper. And eventually released this book. So thank you, Miss Perkins. This book came out today, and I'm extremely excited about it. This book started with paper. Started with a sheet of paper and little drawings. I'm going to show you a little bit about where the book came from. So I took a blank sheet of paper and started drawing circles. And then they started turning into little faces. And you could see these little poses and just very simple. But the more I drew the faces, kind of the more they started to grow or they would expand a little bit. And then they became even more expressive, and this character began to have a name. I named him Sparky. And Sparky, I started to play around with movement. What would Sparky do? And Sparky became a delivery person who delivered mail at the Fantastic Bureau of Imagination to all these agents. So I started creating a world around him to move around in, and even a little friend, a dog, a dream puppy. But this book didn't just begin as a blank sheet of paper or as little circles, little drawings. It began as a feeling I remember feeling for a very long time. Like when I was very young, having big ideas, little sheets of paper, and a whole lot of fear. Fear of sharing them, fear of what people might think, fear of if people would like me or not like me, fear of so many things. And I thought of all of you, all the amazing students I've met in my journeys as I visit classrooms, work with young people all over the world, all these big, amazing ideas inside you, and to think that any of you might be afraid to share them. Well, I'm not okay with that. I believe that the things you imagine today are going to create the world we live in tomorrow. And I want to tap all of you on the shoulder and let you know you're an agent of imagination and we need you today. I believe there are students watching this right now who are going to invent things that change the world for the better. I think there's young people who are going to create lemonade stands and books and songs. You're going to invent and imagine and create so many wonderful things. There's a small character in the book, Sparky, who's very afraid, who loves to write poems, but he's very afraid to share them. And I've felt like that a lot. Even in sharing this new book, I'm going, oh no, what are people going to think? Like, are they going to like it? Is it okay? Am I okay? You have wonderful things to say and share with the world, all of you. And we need you. We need you. We need agents of imagination. And, well, that's why I wrote the book. I wrote the book so that some kid somewhere would write another book, and not just a book, but would create a lemonade stand or start a business or start some sort of way to help their neighbor or write a note to their friend or imagine something that makes the world better and do it. That's why. So here we are celebrating that. But I didn't do it alone because the best things we imagine, we do together. So I have someone with me.
Hey.
Say hi to the more than 500 classrooms,
Wow.
Kristi.
That is a lot of classrooms and a lot of students.
They're here. So Kristi and I, we work together. We've been married for almost 20 years now. We have two amazing kids, and we get to make picture books together. And do you want to tell them a little bit about how we imagine things together?
Yeah, so Brad's really great at coming up with stories, and he does all the writing, and then he does a lot of the character design and the sketches and kind of creating the whole world that these characters can live in. And then he hands over all those sketches to me, and I add all the color and the texture and all of the things to be able to make it completed art.
You bring them to life. So I love to imagine things, but I found that I've had so many big things I wanted to imagine that I needed help, and I couldn't do it alone. We can show them a little bit. So here's the cover of the book. So, and here's how it started as a sketch. Oh, I covered your head. Sorry. We'll move it to we'll cover my head. This is the cover, and it started as a sketch. Hi, I'm the cover of the book. And let's look at how it was brought to life. So here's a little bit of the work that went into creating that. That took a lot of time and a lot of teamwork, but that's the idea. It was such a big dream to imagine that we wanted to put in the time and the teamwork to make it happen. Mm-hmm. There's another way. I want to show this. So this is, I think the cave is a good example, maybe. Yeah. So there's a part in the Fantastic Bureau that exists. It's the Cave of Untold Stories. Now, this cave is a very important part of our story. So I had a hard time figuring out how to bring it to life. So it started very simple. Again, I covered your head. I'm sorry. So the cave started very simple as like a little drawing of a cave. But then I was like, that's not quite right. It doesn't feel like the cave of untold stories. So I thought bigger would be better and a little bit more. You can see that I was trying to figure out the dragon and Sparky and all these ideas. And then the cave sketch kind of developed into this, where I started figuring out a good, flow of what they could be, what the world would look like. There you see the figment flying over with the dog. And then we have this a little more detailed. Now, how did we land here to the final cave? Well, again, we started with some paper. When you have an idea, like let's say you have an idea you don't want to share, you crumple it up. And then when you uncrumple it, you have this really neat pattern. And we were fascinated by that. And so you start to show some of the paper here.
Yeah, so you can actually see, if you look at the inside of the cave, you'll see that it's actually brown paper that's been crumpled up. And we kind of started with having the inside of it being like that, and then the outside, because it was so faceted, I would print out the drawings and then actually fold along the lines to be able to create a little bit more dimension. And so you can kind of see how the light catches it in different places. And when it's photographed, you can kind of see that those facets suddenly seem more dimensional. Like you have shadows and you have light kind of pushing some areas forward and some areas back.
So then it turned into this, which was a collage, a bit of a sketch mixed with paper. And the cave of untold stories is so full that it's beginning to crack and expand and explode even. And so, again, I covered your head. I'm sorry. And so you want to show that one?
Yeah, so on that one, we wanted where it's starting to explode to actually be tears in the paper. So we actually printed out the sketches, and I printed it backwards so that I could fold it and then be able to just see the paper on that side to be able to photograph it. But I went through and I tore it along those lines and tried to create a few more tears that we could add in and give it a little bit more dimension, but also have a little bit of a realness kind of underneath all of it.
Yeah, I think this looks cool here, where you can see you beginning to color in the different places where it bent or was folded or was destroyed. There's so much bigger than I could have done with this original sketch where it was that to go into that.
We make a good team.
And that's the idea. We can imagine things on our own, but the things we imagine together, well, that's where the good stuff is. And so that's why we're excited that there's more than 500 classrooms watching this. What could we imagine and reimagine together? Check this out. So we were excited to get to talk about the Cave of Untold Stories with a group of elementary school students. And I want to show you what that looked like.
There's so many things you can imagine. Dreams, buildings, cakes, scientific breakthroughs, boxcars, tree planting, music, letters to grandma, lemonade stands. But what happens if you have an idea and you don't do anything about it? Well, it joins all the others just like it and goes in a very big pile at the Cave of Untold Stories. It's protected by a dragon. Her name is Brenda. Today's mission: save the Cave of Untold Stories.
Clouds are invisible.
I can help somebody write a book if they're struggling.
So things I love writing and drawing. I love drawing animals, and I just draw a lot of rainbows.
My talent is baseball. My hobbies are parties and games.
I like mermaids, unicorns, sushi.
Do you wish you could fly? Yeah.
Make a hotel. I love dancing.
I can help someone when they fall.
He's not done.
Yeah, I'm not done. Stop arguing.
You're imagining peace. I like that.
Nice job, agents.
Imagination!
Dream and do, agents.
So that is an activity that we got to do with a group of students. You can find that Cave of Untold Stories activity at wondersparks.com. There's lots of other stuff there too. We have coloring sheets, everything from coloring sheets to discussion guides. There's even where you can create your own badge. You're really good at this. You can create your own Agent of Imagination badge. There's one activity that's really been fun to see is students can design what they think the Fantastic Bureau of Imagination headquarters looks like. So here's some of the things that students have guessed what they think it might look like. I don't know what it'll spark for you, but we think it could spark something. If you and your students do any of the activities at wondersparks.com and you send them in to us, your photos, you need to do them together, by April 20th, we're going to be selecting one classroom to receive something. Kristi, do you want to hold this up? Okay. This here is what, Kristi?
A tiny door.
Not just any tiny door. No. This is a tiny door that has direct access to the Fantastic Bureau of Imagination. So when we visit bookstores, libraries, classrooms. They
I'm
might
gonna leave
receive,
one of these behind.
yeah. So your classroom could receive your very own tiny door that leads to the Fantastic Bureau. You could also receive, this is the Junior Agent Challenge. So if you and your students do one of the Wonder Spark activities, send it to us. You can receive a door for your classroom, a signed book for your classroom, pin badges for every single person, and agent ID cards, and maybe some other surprises. But that is something we're very excited to see what comes to life for all of you. Go to wondersparks.com and we'll see what it sparks for you.
Okay, I'm gonna head out and work on painting some more doors. But you guys have fun. Bye.
Thank you for being here. I believe the intangible dreams of people have a tangible effect on the world. What does that mean? Well, the things that we can't see can affect the things we can see. So when you imagine something in your head, it can become a thing that is real. Like you've imagined ways to help people and it became real. We've also imagined ways maybe to hurt people and that became real too. The things we imagine directly affect the real world we live in. So I think it's important now more than ever that you, brave agents of imagination, that we dream up together a better tomorrow, today. There's people who've been dreaming up really amazing things, and a lot of things get dreamed up and written on napkins. Like maybe they don't have blank paper and they just put it on a napkin. Like, J.K. Rowling claims that she actually wrote the first ideas for Harry Potter on a napkin. There's another really fascinating story where this was over 100 years ago. So apparently there were napkins over 100 years ago, and there were some people sitting in a restaurant playing tic-tac-toe. And it inspired one of them because he was a city planner, an architect, who was designing the city, and he realized, oh, the tic-tac-toe grid would make a great grid for our streets in Chicago, all from a napkin. Now, the person who invented the napkin, I don't know where they wrote that idea down. Probably not on a napkin, but it didn't exist, and now it does. And so right now, there's lots of you who are watching this, and I think that there's beautiful things that will exist in the world tomorrow because of what you imagine today. The alphabet is 26 letters, and you can combine them into lots of different words, into lots of different sentences, and into all these paragraphs. And people have been doing it for a long time and designing books and writing stories and singing songs. I don't know what you're going to do with these letters to create words, but I think you could imagine something really incredible. And it's not just books and stories. We can imagine a better world by the things we do. There's some really cool agents of imagination out there who are solving really big problems. That's how we use our imagination. We can be unimaginative and find solutions in some really unimaginative ways, but there's some good ways to solve problems. Check this out. We can imagine all sorts of things, problems, solutions to problems, and we can do it together. And that's where the good stuff happens. I've been really inspired by young people for a very long time because a lot of times they don't just see problems in the world, they see opportunities, the opportunity to solve the problem. Here's one of these agents of imagination. This is Ethan, who lives in Alabama. He's a young agent of imagination. He met somebody who didn't have a home, and he's not okay with that. He wanted to help them. So for the last 7+ years, he's been teaming up with people in his community to gather duffel bags, trailers, and more full of items that people who are homeless might need. He and his community are imagining solutions together. There's also my other friend. This is my friend Anna, who she's an agent of imagination who realized that lots of places in her community were not kid-friendly. The sinks were too high, counters couldn't be seen over. So she started a project where she works with businesses to provide step stools so that kids feel valued and they feel welcome. Imagining belonging. That's what she does. This is a group of 5th graders who they were met with some challenges at their school when they discovered there were people who are not being treated the way they should be treated. So they imagined, what if there was a kindness club? And they created it. One thing that I love is that this is happening in lots and lots of places, including many of you when you signed up, your teacher put in that the kind things that your class were dreaming up, these things you were inventing, these ways you were creating a better world already. This is a group of students I got to Zoom with just a few weeks ago in New York. Here's some questions I asked them that I want to ask all of you. So if you're watching this, you're obviously someone who's creative, who's compassionate, and it's time to collaborate with people around you. If you have your blank sheet of paper, this is the time where maybe you're going to write something down. I have 4 questions for you. And I want you to imagine whatever you want, but you're going to put it on this paper. And the first question is this: I wonder who we could help. Now, I don't know where that immediately takes you. You can think about, I wonder who I would help. Maybe you immediately think of a person. Maybe you start thinking, who might even need help? I don't know. Well, lots of people have answered this different ways. Some of the students I've worked with have imagined everyone from janitors to classmates to librarians to people that lived and worked in their community. But write down a few names. I wonder who we could help. And then you start asking the next question. I wonder not just who we could help, I wonder what they might need. Now this invites you to start sort of asking something else. Not, I wonder what they might need. It's not a guessing game. This becomes the part where you start noticing, looking, listening. What do they really need? What would really help them? Maybe you start talking to other people who know them really well. And as you start doing that, that leads to question 3. Question 3. I wonder who might team up with us. This is where you start really getting fun. It starts to go, oh, well, if they need this and we love them and we want to do something for them, I wonder who might team up with us to help them. And you start realizing you're not alone in this. There's other people who want to be part of this. You're going to pull something off really cool together. And then ask this one, my favorite question. You can ask this anytime. I wonder how wonderful it could be. Like if it all worked out, I wonder how wonderful it could be. We do something that encourages them, that helps them. We team up with people. We do it together. I wonder how wonderful it could be. These 4 simple questions can lead to some big adventures. I've seen it. It's led to everything from parades. It's led to students gathering to celebrate people around them that they love. This is a group of students who threw a parade for someone at their school that they loved. All because they started asking those 4 questions. I wonder who we could help. I wonder what they might need. I wonder who might team up with us. And I wonder how wonderful it could be. It's even led to students doing Socktober drives, collecting things for people in their neighborhood, teaming up with people all around them. If you and your classmates, your friends, this inspires your imagination to do anything, I would love to hear what it sparks for you. You can send me mail. You can mail to the Fantastic Bureau of Imagination at P.O. Box 30, Henderson, Tennessee 38340. This would be a great place. You can send your art. You can send anything that you've been inspired, anything you're imagining. Mail it to the Fantastic Bureau. We'd love to know what you're dreaming up. I am so honored that you would be here with us today as we celebrate not just this book, The Fantastic Bureau of Imagination, but as we celebrate imagination in general, all the things we can dream up together. Now, you all can dream up some big worlds. You can dream up big characters. You can dream up all these things that are really, really incredible. But I can't wait to hear what you dream up that makes the world a better place for the people around you. Um, I would love to read you a part of this. I wasn't going to read the whole book because I wanted you to be able to spend some time with it and study it your own and look through it. There's over 100 figments in this book. There's a whole world to explore. I designed the inside of the Bureau of Imagination, and then you can see Kristi really brought it to life here as this whole thing that can be explored. And this is only part of the building. There's all these offices and agents with responsibilities. But most of all, I really wanted it to be real. It's make-believe, but I wanted it to let people know I believe in them. This is a poem in the book, and it's for all of you. Wherever you are today, the more than 500 classrooms watching this, whether you're watching live or you found this years later, I can't wait to see what you imagine. This is a poem in the book. Hello, humans. We need you to be bold. There are too many stories that remain untold. There's still so many good things, and they haven't been done. Agents of imagination are needed, and you can be one. This is your invitation. Tell fear to get out of the way. Beautiful tomorrows can begin today. We must all dare to dream, but must also do. For dreamers are many, but doers are few. Dare to dream, but please also do. For dreamers are many, but doers are few. Thanks for watching. Thanks most of all for what you're doing right there where you are. To all the teachers, it means the world you'd let this be part of your classroom. To all the parents, bravo. Thank you. And to all of you young people who have little sheets of paper in front of you and big dreams inside you, share them. Dare to dream, but please also do. We need you. We need you. So I hope to see you all more. Remember, wondersparks.com. You can go through the activities there. Enter to win a tiny door. You can mail to us here. If you've seen this video, it is no accident. The figments at the Fantastic Bureau have been trying to reach you. These are our official jackets that we got. I work as a recruiting agent for the agency now. This is the cool back of it. Yeah. So I'm really glad to be here with you. Thanks for watching live with us. We'll see you soon. Bye, everybody.